Clinton in China. While the president defends the relationship, the Chinese government arrests an outspoken critic.
He just said one sentence: I have been kidnapped by the secret police.
In depth tonight, a scorching summer forecast, more drought, more fires, and record heat. And when Washington takes care of the folks back home, the Pentagon doesn't want this equipment. So why is Congress spending millions on it?
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. President Clinton had been in China only a few hours when the issues of human rights and free speech were forced into the open with the reported arrest of a dissident at the president's first stop, Xi'an, the ancient capital south of Beijing. Mr. Clinton was told of the reported arrest, and in his public remarks, he did remind the Chinese that the success of America grows out of the freedom of every citizen. NBC's David Bloom is traveling with the president tonight.
Even as the president was receiving what the Chinese call the Emperor's Welcome in the ancient capital city of Xi'an, human rights groups reported Chinese authorities have detained at least 3 local dissidents. In an exclusive interview with NBC News, Wang Jing described how her husband, dissident Yang Kai, was arrested just hours before President Clinton arrived, as Yang tried to leave his office for an interview with a U.S. reporter, which could have embarrassed the Chinese government.
They stopped him. They would not let him go down the door. And then one of them said, if you keep trying to go down, I will beat you to death.
2 hours later, Wang says, she received a brief telephone call from her husband.
He just said one sentence: I have been kidnapped by the secret police.
The White House insists America's ambassador to China will raise the issue of dissident roundups with the Chinese government. But in the U.S., human rights groups expressed outrage and said the president is now in an awkward position.
Does he offend his hosts, or does he stand up for principles?
So far, Mr. Clinton has remained silent, ignoring reporters' questions.
Mr. Clinton, will you say anything on behalf of the dissidents who've been detained today?
Earlier, after the elaborate welcoming ceremony, the president defended his trip to China.
There may be those here and back in America who wonder whether closer ties and deeper friendship between America and China are good. Clearly, the answer is yes.
Holding the couple's 5-month-old daughter, Wang Jin worried aloud that this time her husband, who's been jailed before, might not be coming back.
Clinton once said that the Chinese human rights situation has improved. I think it's regrettable for a president to say such a thing. He doesn't understand China.
The president is convinced, though, that only by prodding China on human rights while pursuing a broad range of issues will progress be made. When it comes to political dissidents here in Xi'an, at least, it appears the Chinese authorities aren't listening. Tom?
Thanks very much. David Bloom tonight with the president in Xi'an. One of the issues that President Clinton also has promised to raise with Chinese officials is Tibet, the mountainous Buddhist kingdom and home to the Dalai Lama, a home that he can't return to because Beijing insists it is China's territory. This is a sensitive issue with China because the Dalai Lama has powerful friends in America and also on the celebrity circuit. But recently, the Chinese invited NBC's Jim Maseda to Tibet. And tonight, we have this rare look at what Beijing is doing to that kingdom.
At times, Tibetans have prayed to their Buddhist gods of free people. At other times, crushed by China's invading armies. But for 13 centuries, the battle for Tibet has raged on, until today. This is the look of the new Tibet its Chinese rulers want the world to see. Yung, 33, once a peasant farmer, now makes $100 a month, twice the average wage, finishing carpets in one of many new factories.
With my salary, I can support my aging parents and send my 2 kids to school.
She's part of a new Chinese tactic. Brute force has not won over Tibet, so Yung, like a growing number of Tibetans, has been seduced. The Chinese now give them jobs and goods and services, so attractive after 50 years of occupation and hardship. To that end, China's pumped over $5 billion into Tibet. Tens of thousands of Chinese managers and workers now flood its cities. The government claims it's helping Tibet into the modern world.
Tibet is like a small child. It needs to learn. and with proper training, it will learn.
But in today's classrooms, no lessons on Tibetan religion, no mention of Tibet's supreme religious and political leader, the Dalai Lama, who in 1959 fled the communist invasion. Instead, children now pledge allegiance to China. Critics, and there are many, of China's policy of rebuilding Tibet with Chinese characteristics fear that once these Tibetan children become adults, Tibet could be no more than another Chinese province. In exile, the Dalai Lama warns the flood of Chinese men and money will kill Tibet's freedom more efficiently than any weapon.
Tibetans are becoming an insignificant minority in their own homeland.
In monasteries along the heart of Tibetan resistance, monks whisper about Chinese repression. But in today's more secular Tibet, Jung, the carpet maker, may speak for the many.
I'm so busy with my job, I have very little time in my life for religion or the Dalai Lama.
It's how Tibetans, a proud, ancient people, are losing the battle to save, much less free, their culture without even a fight. Jim Maceda, NBC News, Lhasa.
Still ahead here tonight, a powerful U.S. senator, a big Navy project. Trouble is, the Navy doesn't want it.
What kind of senator would I be if I wouldn't try to promote programs or projects that do benefit my state?
Using political power to build high-ticket items the military doesn't need, doesn't want. What's going on here? Later, NBC News in depth tonight. Scorched earth. Record heat brings misery and destruction from coast to coast.
My dad always said,
as soon as I get a computer, you'll come out with something better.
So to make sure people like Dad have the latest computer, we invented Yourware, technology that grows with you. For just $49.95 a month, you can buy a computer with an Intel Pentium 2 processor, unlimited internet access, and in 2 years, you can trade it in towards the purchase of a new one.
What do you call this thing?
Yourware. Call 1-800-GATEWAY, and let's talk about Yourware.
Heard the news about Cheerios? A new study has shown that 3 cups of Cheerios whole grain oats a day added to a low-fat diet can actually help reduce your cholesterol. The one and only Cheerios, to help reduce your cholesterol.
Do you like legs? Well, here's an attractive set. All-you-can-eat snow crab legs at Red Lobster for only $13.99. Bottomless buckets of meaty, succulent snow crab legs at a price you can't resist.
1 3-layer wedding cake, done.
3? Should be 6.
Oh.
I'll go get the flour.
Bayer relieves the inflammation that can cause arthritis, pain, and stiffness. Tylenol can't. And taken regularly, only Bayer can help save your life by reducing the risk of another heart attack. Ask your doctor.
Ta-da!
It's beautiful, but it's Ed and Norma.
Oh, think you'll notice.
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more. Also try Extra Strength Bayer PM, the only nighttime aspirin.
2 women with close connections to 2 presidential scandals are making news tonight. Linda Tripp, the woman whose tape-recorded conversations with Monica Lewinsky started that criminal investigation, now has been subpoenaed to testify before Ken Starr's Washington grand jury. Tripp's lawyer says she will appear this coming Tuesday for what is expected to be 3 days of testimony. And Susan McDougal, the president's former Whitewater business partner, was ordered released from prison today for medical reasons. The judge reduced her 2-year sentence for bank fraud to time served so she can be treated for a back problem. However, she may wind up back in jail eventually. She still does face other criminal charges which are not related to Whitewater. And there were several major rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court today. Kenneth Starr lost in his bid for notes from former White House counsel Vince Foster's lawyer. Starr argued the attorney-client privilege expired when Foster died. But the justices said no. The court also made its first ruling involving people with the AIDS virus, saying those without symptoms are entitled to protection from discrimination under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And in its most significant decision, the court struck down the line-item veto that Congress gave the president just 2 years ago as a way of attempting to cut pork barrel spending. This is a big setback for President Clinton. NBC's Pete Williams explains why tonight.
The court said no matter how much money the line-item veto might save, the Constitution won't allow it. Just about every president this century has asked for it. 2/3 of Americans say they favor it. Nearly every state governor has it. And 2 years ago, the Republican-controlled Congress made Bill Clinton the first president to actually have the line-item veto. The idea, if Congress couldn't help itself from spending money on pork, the president would provide discipline. With that new power, once a president signed a budget bill into law, he could cross out specific parts he didn't like. Out went a $63 million tax break for a Texas billionaire selling a sugar beet plant, and a bonus for Idaho investors hoping to cash in on potato processing. In all, 82 items vetoed, budget cuts worth $870 million. But today's 6-3 vote by the Supreme Court struck it down. The opinion, written by Justice John Paul Stevens, said that in using the line-item veto, the president has amended acts of Congress, and no provision in the Constitution allows him to do that. Dissenting Justice Antonin Scalia said it's just a part of a president's spending power, not a real veto, but calling it that, he said, has succeeded in faking out the Supreme Court. Republicans in Congress say there goes the budget.
This defeat means that we will return and retreat to the practice of loading up otherwise necessary legislation with pork barrel spending.
But opponents of the line-item veto say presidents have no spending discipline either.
Any president has his pork in appropriation bills as well, and you don't dare touch his pork.
Justice Kennedy said today Congress may lack the political will to control spending, but that doesn't justify an unconstitutional solution like the line-item veto. Pete Williams, NBC News at the Supreme Court.
It was a mixed day on Wall Street. The Dow surging early, up more than 100 points, then dropping back to finish the day, up almost 12 points. The Nasdaq was down today, 14.5 points. Up next, NBC News in depth tonight. This year of bizarre weather goes on. Now heat, drought, and wildfires. Can they be stopped?
Hey, the front desk gave me this coupon book.
Oh, great. I don't want to go to Monkey World. I don't want to go to the Dental Museum.
Really? How about SeaWorld? How about the Hard Rock Cafe?
Check into any Comfort Inn or Comfort Suites and get Comfort coupons.
Don't toy with us, please.
Over $1,000 in discounts on stuff you really want. Theme parks, movies, airline tickets.
So now we can afford another 2 weeks?
Kids stay free and you get the coupon book. It's more than a room, it's comfort.
I'm on an all-night flight when suddenly, terrible heartburn. The guy in the next seat says, here, try this. Zantac 75. Thanks, I say. You know, maybe I ought to see a doctor about this heartburn. He says, you just did.
The medicine in Zantac 75 is the #1 doctor-prescribed acid reducer. It relieves even your toughest heartburn, controlling acid for up to 12 hours.
Thanks, doctor. Wherever you are.
Zantac 75, the final word in heartburn relief.
Here we are in this simple, majestic setting. None of the usual interruptions, nobody around to distract us from introducing AT&T One Rate Plus. Now, the key point, the thing to remember, is that every call you make from home with One Rate Plus, every call, day and night, 10 cents a minute.
Did you say 10 cents a minute, dude?
How do they find me?
AT&T One Rate Plus. 10 cents a minute, anytime. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
Dateline Friday. It's a real courtroom with a real life on the line and a lawyer crusading for justice.
You argued in court the dog would have a bad day.
That's right. He's a dog lawyer.
If we can prove that it's a good dog having a bad day, you should let him go.
Should every dog have his day in court? Dateline Summertime. It's all new Friday, 8/7 Central.
NBC News in depth tonight. Chances are that wherever you are in this country, it's hot. From the West Coast to the eastern seaboard, temperatures and humidity are well above normal, making everything outdoors uncomfortable and worse. What's causing this very early summer heat treatment? How long will it last? We begin in depth now with NBC's Robert Hager.
Across the country, it's hot, really hot. With the humidity, feels like more than 100 degrees from Southern California to the East Coast and as far north as the Great Lakes.
The humidity gets you.
Midwest power companies plead with customers to cut off air conditioning and save electricity. Otherwise warn there'll be blackouts.
Murder. It's absolutely murder, man. It's hot, humid. Do the best you can, that's it.
The Mid-Atlantic posts an ozone smog alert. People warned to stay indoors.
It's hot. It's terribly hot out here today.
It's ridiculous.
In Florida, wildfires force more evacuations. The state's moisture index is almost as dry as a desert. And spreading smoke threatens tourism. This woman fights her way to the beach.
I had a horrible headache. My son had a bad headache. He was throwing up from having to breathe the smoke for so long.
Crops drying. Texas may face farm losses of $500 million. Georgia, $250 million. Parched pastures leave beef cattle underweight and dairy cows underproductive. Farmers use fans and hoses to cool the animals. In Washington, iced tea and water passed out free. Photographers staking out the Kenneth Starr grand jury use bags of ice to stay cool. In New York, a fashion model in a wool suit struggles to keep composure during a shoot for an autumn magazine layout. But here's the worst part. The long-range forecast is alarming. Calls for more hot and dry in the southwest for months, even into next spring. And dry in the south, Midwest, and mid-Atlantic as well. From now through Independence Day, the Weather Service sees no rain at all for a huge chunk of the west. Now look way ahead, late autumn. Although forecasting that far ahead becomes less reliable, the early indication is more dry, all the way from the southwest to Texas and the Great Plains. By next winter, the dry area may spread into Florida and up the coast to the middle Atlantic, and may even linger as late as spring in the southwest, Texas, and by then some of the Midwest as well. Meantime, it's a struggle.
Whew. When this day is over, I feel much better.
Maybe so, but there's a way to go. So far, it's only the 5th day of summer. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
Now a closer look at those wildfires. As we have seen in parts of Florida, that state is under siege. And now Texas, also bone dry and unseasonably hot, is waging its own fight. We continue in depth with the fire forecast from NBC's Jim Cummins.
Today, another wildfire breaks out in Texas, this one in suburban Dallas, the latest of at least 3,000 wildfires over the past 2 months, more than all of 1997. And the people who fight the fires feel overwhelmed.
We were so strung out on 3 other fires, took a little while to get some units on out this way to take care of this one.
So far, more than 118,000 acres of grass, shrubs, and trees have burned in Texas. Authorities now predict that wildfire danger will reach extreme levels over 98% of the state by the 4th of July, when exploding fireworks will increase the danger.
Well, it's as serious as we have records for. Our meteorologists have told us that this could be the start of a 100-year record drought.
Nationwide, the U.S. Forest Service warns there's a high wildfire danger in many places, from Florida to California. And it's only going to get worse. 28,000 fires so far this year, more than 630,000 acres burned, already surpassing the acreage losses for last year.
Lack of precipitation that would occur normally this time in May and June has caused the fuels to dry prematurely.
In Florida, where there have been 1,000 blazes since May and there are 80 fires a day, the governor has banned fireworks statewide because of the fire danger. Of course, the best solution for wildfires from Florida to Texas would be rain.
We'll need a large system like a tropical system to come in there and really douse down Florida or Texas to get us out of the drought.
There is a tropical system in the Gulf of Mexico tonight. Weather forecasters say it's not expected to produce rains that will help put out the fires in Florida. And it's too early to know whether it will provide any relief for the dry, parched Southwest. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
When we come back, the sporting life turns wild and violent, and later, living longer, living better, bridging the generation gap, one book at a time.
I'll tell you what. When it's time to clean your outside windows, does the job seem this big? Next time, try new Windex Outdoor. Just aim, spray, and rinse. Windex Outdoor's concentrated formula and sheeting action dissolve tough outdoor grime to get windows clean. No buckets, no ladders, no aggravation. Bring a big job down to size with new Windex Outdoor. A beautiful shine, a lot less time.
What's the #1 ranked minivan by Car and Driver? Montana from Pontiac. It's the rugged minivan that can really get along.
That ball's around here somewhere.
Life is more exciting in Montana by Pontiac.
Busy day on Wall Street.
How do you stay ahead?
Stocks ended mixed. The S&P 500 closed.
You watch.
Getting cautiously optimistic.
Listen. Gather facts.
Day of volatile trading.
Know as much as you can. And pay as little as you can. Mutual Fund One Source only from Schwab, including historically high-performing no-load funds and more from over 90 fund families. Call now for the latest select list and get investing
The way it should be.
You can feel it start to burn all through here. All you can think about is getting rid of it quickly. I even tried Zantac 75, but it didn't work fast enough. Finally, I asked my doctor, and my doctor said Mylanta. Fast-acting Mylanta was made to work fast where heartburn hurts most. Soothing, on contact. It's so fast. My doctor said Mylanta.
Look for the money-saving coupon for Mylanta in this Sunday's paper.
In Mexico City tonight, huge celebrations as Mexico's 2-2 tie with the Netherlands allows that country to advance to the second round of World Cup play. 15,000 revelers, more than 20 wounded, as some clash with Mexican police. And from Mississippi to Georgia tonight, a double-barreled example of old-fashioned political firepower, bringing home those big military contracts for ships and planes, even when the Pentagon doesn't want them. Who's powerful enough to do that? Some answers now from NBC's Jim Miklashevsky.
They're the two most powerful men in Congress, House Speaker Newt Gingrich and Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott. And they're using that clout to play one of the oldest games in Washington, bring home the pork. Gingrich is from Marietta, Georgia, where Lockheed Martin turns out C-130 cargo planes for the Air Force. In a last-minute maneuver worthy of a fighter pilot, Gingrich had 6 of these new planes added to the Pentagon budget. That'll send $370 million more back to Marietta and boost Gingrich's political standing back home. Trouble is, the Air Force never asked for the additional planes and for now doesn't need them. Democrats in Congress accuse Gingrich of playing politics with the Pentagon budget.
We don't need more pork, we need more teeth.
Gingrich shot back that when Democrats were in power, they did the same thing.
So I don't even worry about it.
Neither does his counterpart in the Senate, Majority Leader Trent Lott. He added a $50 million down payment to the defense budget for a new helicopter carrier to be built by Ingalls Shipyard in his hometown of Pascagoula, Mississippi. Eventual cost, $1.5 billion.
I believe the people of South Mississippi consider Senator Lott to be a hero.
Like the Air Force, the Navy had the new ship forced on them.
By the way, what kind of senator would I be if I wouldn't try to promote programs or projects that do benefit my state?
Both sides have always used the Pentagon budget to win votes back home. But now that defense spending is tighter, when lawmakers add money in one place, the services have to give up something else. It may be good politics, but critics call it bad budgeting that could eventually take a toll on national defense. Jim Miklashevsky, NBC News, the Pentagon.
And tonight I'm sad to report the loss of a colleague, Mark Harrington, one of the best and brightest in our business. First at CBS News, where as a boy wonder, he worked at the right hand of Walter Cronkite. And then here at NBC News, where he was the first vice president and general manager of MSNBC, our all-news cable outlet. Mark, who was just 51, lost a long battle to cancer. Tonight, our deepest sympathy to his wife Kyle and his son David.
Legendary car for people who go their own way.
Denture wearers, look who's starring for Polident. Me, Florence Henderson. Just smell all that mint. Polident fights denture odor while it cleans tough stains. Take a tip from Florence. Get minty fresh Polident to fight denture odor every day.
Life's an adventure because you're over 50 and still exploring. So take the Centrum made just for you, Centrum Silver, with age-essential nutrients specially adjusted to keep pace with your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
Fibercon or Metamucil, both have fiber for regularity. But I like Fibercon better.
Same natural action of fiber, but only Fibercon contains calcium.
And with Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets.
Fibercon, fiber and calcium in a convenient caplet.
Is summer heat ruining your lawn? Got your sprinkler working overtime?
Well, watering's only half the job.
Now you can turn your sprinkler into a lawn saver with Miracle Grow Lawn Food and the Miracle Grow No Clog 4-in-1 feeder. It's that easy.
Ah, the good old days of supermarket shopping. When nothing stood between you and your next meal. Nothing. But today, there are materials that help lock out harmful contaminants and reduce spoilage, keeping us safe and the food we eat fresh. Plastics make it possible. So now, the rest is history.
Yellowstone, America's greatest national treasure, nearly destroyed by wildfires. Now living proof of an amazing recovery. How did it happen? NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
After 10 years of marriage, is Hollywood's most powerful couple headed for divorce? Bruce Willis and Demi Moore on Time and Again. Call your cable or satellite provider for MSNBC.
Tonight, living longer, living better. Something that's been lost in modern America has been found again. Folks old enough to be grandparents feel they no longer have any connection to kids. Wrong. Tonight, NBC's Rahima Ellis tells us about a program that brings the generations together in the most productive possible way.
68-year-old Harold Allen felt restless and idle after 6 years of retirement.
We live in a society where the elderly are considered passé and something that's just hanging around.
But then Allen met these 2 first graders, started tutoring Juanira and Martel before they could barely spell their own names. And now, in just 9 months, the amazing results. They're reading books.
Where are my shoes?
Across the country, similar success, as 240 older Americans like Allen tutor more than 1,200 children.
The senior power is enormous. It's the great frontier of talent in this country. To tap that just makes sense, and we found the way to do it.
In 9 cities, 3 days a week, the Seniors for Schools volunteers work with children at risk of failing in kindergarten through 3rd grade.
Boy!
Seniors tutor up to 2 students at a time for 40 minutes, giving the children the individual attention they need. To test how well the year-old program is working, students like Juanira are quizzed on their skills. And earlier this month, stunning test results outside of Boston. 100 first graders now read at 3rd grade levels. By all accounts, everybody wins in this program. The volunteers are giving the students time and attention, helping them to read, write, and believe in themselves. In return, the volunteers are learning they're never too old to make a difference.
All of a sudden you realize that a lot of us, we worked various types of jobs and had very little formal education, suddenly realize that we have so much to offer.
ABC.
Living longer, living better by coming back from retirement and opening a new world of reading for children. Rahima Ellis, NBC News, Philadelphia.
Tomorrow night here on Nightly News, Yellowstone Park, one of America's crown jewels, almost destroyed by wildfires. Now the wolves, the grizzlies, the bison have made an amazing recovery. The secrets of the park tomorrow night in a special in-depth report. That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Brokaw.
NBC Nightly News is America's most watched evening news program.
Tomorrow, dance all morning long with Lionel Richie live outside our studio. Brought to you by the incredible edible egg, only on Today.
NBC's coverage of Wimbledon gets underway Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Defending champion Martina Hingis